So I want to make a general disclaimer first. I am not a groomer. I am not a professional groomer. I'm a dog breeder. I groom a lot of my own dogs, but I'm not a groomer. I do things differently than a professional groomer will because I'm doing them at home for my own dogs. If you're a professional groomer, you may want to shut this off because I'm sure that I'm going to say or do a couple of things that might make you cringe, but I just want to show in this video how people can groom their own dogs at home. And what I'm going to show you is my personal aesthetic preference, the way I like my dogs to look. There are other ways you can make your dogs look. You can do a lot of different styles with them. I'm going to show you what I like. So the first thing I'll tell you that I like is that I don't like my dog to look like they have really skinny legs. So unless I'm leaving my dog super long, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the body shorter than the legs so that the legs look nice and sturdy and beefy. And Gobi, can you stand up? Gobi was groomed that way before, and you can see it in her longer coat. Oops. That she's got longer legs. Thicker looking legs because this is longer than up here. All right. And then these are my combs that I showed you in the supplies video. And what I do to achieve the look I like is that for the body, I'll use, if I want a really short body, this is a 1/4 inch. I'll probably use this today. This is what, 3/8, I think? Let me see. Yeah, 3/8. So I'll use the 3/8 or the 1/4 inch on the body, and then for the legs, I'll go 1 or even 2 combs bigger or longer for the legs. So if I use this comb on the body, I'll use either this one or this one on the legs. And if I use this comb on the body, I'll use either this one or this one on the legs. So I think today we'll use this comb on the body and we'll use this comb on the legs so you can see the difference. It's perfectly okay to use the same comb on both the body and the legs. This is just what I personally like. Right, Gobi? We like this? Okay. All right, so I'm going to start with the body. Okay, this is I think it's a 3/8. Yeah, this is a 3/8. I don't know if you can see it, but it says right there that it's a 3/8. It's also called a number 2, but I go by the length. It's a 3/8. I'm going to put that on my 15, and if I had a 30 I'd use it, but my 30 got worn out. You can, so the cleaner your dog is, the longer your blades will last, but if you don't groom a lot of dogs, your blade's going to last a long time anyway, so I'm sure this will make professional groomers cringe, but you know, sometimes when you're home you just got to make do, and if you have to clip your dog and it's dirty, clean it up as much as possible and know that your blade will have a shorter life, but I am giving you permission to clip a dirty dog if you have to, because sometimes we just have to get by. Okay? I mean, you don't want to clip a dirty dog, but I'm talking about an unwashed dog. All right. So I'm going to do her body first, and it's going to be a little challenging for us. We usually kind of wing it, but I want to make sure you guys can see, so I'm going to be moving her around a little bit more than I usually do. Also with Gobi, she's not much of a treat taker on the table or in a lot of places, but she likes a lot of hugs. So we use grooming as a bonding experience, and I'm going to be hugging and kissing her a lot, and she's going to be hugging and kissing me because that's how we do things, and that's how we keep her happy on the table. Other dogs, you're going to want to smear peanut butter on something, or give them a lot of treats to make them happy. They all like different things, but do what you have to keep your dog happy on the table. If someone can help you and can feed your dog treats, that's really good too, so that you have that reinforcement for the dog. If your dog is really adverse to the table, what you want to do is put your dog up on the table. If you're using the washing machine or wherever you're grooming, put your dog up where you're grooming your dog when you're not grooming. And put your dog up there and love on her and kiss her and give her cookies and tell her how good and beautiful she is, and do lots and lots and lots of happy things even when you're not grooming, so that she doesn't just associate the grooming place with being groomed if she doesn't like it. Okay. So I'm going to use, there are 2 speeds on the clipper. There's low and high. I'm going to use high all the time for this application. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the clippers, and when I put it on her body, I don't do it like this. I want this right here to be flat against her skin. So that's how you get your even cut. So I'm going to clip, it's going to be flat against her skin. Flat against her skin that way, okay? So I'm going to put it on high. And I did comb her out, but we may still encounter some snags here, and I'm going to go in the direction of the hair. All right, there we go. Direction of the hair. And I'm doing it a little bit more slowly at first, just so you can see. We're going to go in the direction of the hair. There you go. You want to sit? Okay. And actually, this is, I'm not getting cutting much hair off with this, so I'm going to go a little bit shorter just so you can see the difference in the cut. So let me switch out my comb. And I'm going to go a little shorter. I keep Gobi short. She loves to get dirty. This dog could find mud in the desert, so we're going to go short on her because it just keeps us both happy. I don't complain that she goes out and plays, and she doesn't have to get more baths than she wants to get. So we're going to keep her short. And this is a 1/4 inch, so we're going to go with the 1/4 inch. So with this, again, make sure that's seated well on there. So with this, if I'm using the 1/4 inch blade on her body, I'm going to want to go with one of these for the look that we're doing here for her legs. But again, you can use the same blade if you want to. I just prefer a beefier looking leg. All right, so let's, there we go. There, you're seeing more that way. There we go. Lots of hair. I use a 5-gallon bucket with a trash bag in it. You can use anything you want, but it's a good place to collect the hair. And you just follow along with the contours of the body. Okay, just like that. Just follow along. You're going to have to go over it probably a couple of times in some areas, and that's okay. You always want to go the direction of the hair. You don't want to go against the grain of the hair. And then when you do this, you start, I make an imaginary line right behind her ears, and you can do that first. You can kind of clip that out and just groom her away. And you know, I have dogs that like to lay down on the table. As long as I can reach what I need to, that's fine. Now when I get to the legs here, I do the shoulder, just the top of the shoulder with this, and then I'm going to use the other blade and blend it in. It's very simple. It's not very hard. Just remember not to go down the leg if you're using this 2-blade technique. Then when you get to the barrel of the body, the hair goes this way, so you're going to want to go this way. All right, and as you get practice, it'll go faster. The first few times you do it, it takes a bit of time. So I'm going to go ahead and groom her body. Come here, sweetie. When I want her to stand up, I just gently put my hand under her tummy, and she stands. Hi, Pumpkin. What you doing? I tell her she's good. She's a good girl. She's a very good girl, and we're making her pretty. She likes to be pretty. She likes to be dirty more than she likes to be pretty, but we'll work with it. Okay, and again on this side on the shoulder, I'm just going down about halfway, and I'll show you what I do later. And again, just kind of follow the ribs, the pattern of the hair. All right, and then gently pick their muzzle up, and you can do their neck. Okay. And just kind of go around the face for now. We'll do the face separately at the end. I can do everything all at once now because I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing, but we're gonna separate this sort of into sections so it's a little bit easier to learn. Now my clipper's getting a little bit gummed up here. You can see there's hair stuck in there, so I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna take my guard off, and I'm gonna clean everything out a little bit. Okay, see all that? This is the smoker's toothbrush. Just clean it out like that. Clean all the excess off. I'm going to clean the excess from the clipper guard. I'm going to cool and lubricate. And I'm going to put my guard back on, making sure that it's seated correctly so I don't break my blade. Okay, and start again. There we go. And you'll notice when your clipper gets gummed up because it just won't cut as nicely, or it'll be seeming to get stuck a little bit more, or you'll kind of see a trail left through it. It won't clip cleanly. I'm trying to stay out of the way here. Okay. You can go under the ear, but we'll do the face separately, just until you get the hang of it, and then you can do the face along with the body, or parts of the face, because I use different size clippers on different parts of the face. Right, so I'm going to ask her with my hand to gently stand up, and I'm going to turn her so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay. And for now, just go to the base of the tail, and we'll do the tail separately also. But again, we're just doing the body. Okay. Go down and down and down, and we'll do the underside as well. Get her little armpit. Hey, sweetie. You're doing great. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Good girl. Good girl. Now you want to be careful that you don't run the clipper accidentally down the tail. And again, like with the shoulder, I go halfway down the thigh. Okay, and I'll need to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to take a minute to just clear my area. And I'm going to turn her around. I'm gummed up, so I'm going to clean that out again. And if your dog isn't used to this, or you're not used to handling your dog like this, have somebody with you the first time to help if you need it. Some dogs are very wiggly on the table, and you're going to have to work with them a little bit more. Kobe is about as easy as it gets. Good girl. And when you clean your blade, don't be like I did. Sometimes there have been times where I've accidentally picked this up without the guard on and gone to clip my dog and accidentally shaved my dog. Don't be like me. Always remember to put your clipper guard back on. There's still some shmoo in there. Okay. I do wear an apron because the hair will get everywhere. It's in my face. If you're allergic, this might not be a great task for you. I'm just going to hold my hand under there, and I just kind of gently let her know I want her to stand. Okay, again, just halfway down the thigh. Alright, and follow the ribs. And if you miss some spots, you can come back and fix them later. A lot of the time I'll come back with the scissors and fix things with the scissors. Now when you're doing the underside, there are a couple of different ways you can reach the underside. You can pick up a leg, alright, and go this way. Or you can pick up a leg and do under like this or like that. What I like to do, I have a dog that tolerates it. It's all going to depend on your dog. So I'm going to have her come up like this, and I just hold her like this, or I can put her feet on my shoulder, and she'll stay there because she's a good dog. And then I can just do the bottom like this. Okay? So she's just got her feet resting on my shoulder, and I'm able to get her tummy like this. Remember that even male dogs have nipples. All right, so you want to remember that they're there and be very careful. You don't want to be cutting off any nipples. Male dogs have penises, so don't be careful around the penis. I don't have a male dog to show you how to clip male genitalia, but I'll tell you about it later. Okay, and then we are done with this. Actually, I'm going to check under here. Yeah, she's a little long here, so I'm just going to hold her up like this. And go back in over here because I missed a couple of spots. I'm so busy talking that I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. We can get her tummy clipped. Okay. And I'll do, with this blade, I'll do the inside of the thighs and keep it a little bit shorter. It's neater that way. And there we have it. We've got a couple of long spots. We can come back and get those later. Thank you, sweetie. And then what you might want to do, one of the places, there are a couple places dogs get really matted. One is behind the ears, which is why I start with the short blade right up at the neck to help with those mats. Some dogs get really matted behind their armpits. So go ahead and cut that short. If I have a dog that really just, I can't keep the mats out of the armpits, I'll actually shave the armpit. So be sure to get the armpit. And I would rather shave an armpit than have to, and the same thing with the groin area, I'd rather shave with a 10 blade than have to try to demat a dog there. That's a very sensitive area. I don't want to be pulling on hair. So I would rather take the hair off if I can't keep it unmatted or even just unsnagged. Right here, this is a little iffy. I'm going to just clean that up. in the flank here, there's a piece of skin. You want to be very careful because you can cut that with the clipper. So just be a little gentle and a little more tentative around that area, because that'll get down to the clipper. All right, we're gonna check the other side. Sweets. Okay. Okay. Good job. I'm gonna do her other armpit. And the armpit is one of the few areas that I will go, you know, I told you to go along the grain of the hair, to go with the hair. That's one of the few areas I might go against the hair just to get it all clipped down. And because it's a very inconvenient place, and also we don't really see it, so if it doesn't look all that great, let's just make sure it's clean. Because I don't know anybody who goes looking at doggy armpits. Okay. So now I'm ready to do the legs, except I noticed I'm not just closed up here. Let me just fix this. So I'm ready to do the legs, and you can just, if you want to continue with this blade and have short legs, short-haired legs, you can do that with this clipper guard. I'm going to switch because I like a different look. So I'm going to still keep my 15 blade on here, and again, if you want an even nicer look, you can use a 30 blade. You'll get a cleaner cut, but I use my 15. They're a lot less expensive, and I go through a lot of blades. So I've got my 1/4 inch. I'm going to go up 2 blades. Again, you can go up 1. I don't know that I'd go up 3 clipper guards, but you can if you want to. So I'm going to clean, and let's get this clean. Put the gourd on. You can see this is a little bit longer, and the same thing I'm going to do the same way. I want this part touching the hair. And if you haven't combed your dog out well, you're not going to be able to get the clipper guards through your dog's coat. It's just going to get snagged, and it's going to get cut. If you tug on it a little bit, you can probably get it through, but it's going to pull the hair of your dog, so I don't recommend it. So I'm just going to do the same thing on the leg and go straight down. And I do tend to find that no matter what I do with a clipper guard on the legs, I always need to touch it up with the scissors. So we'll come back with the scissors after we do this. See, I got a little snag here at the armpit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop. And I'm going to just gently see if I can pull that out. Take her elbow. Just see if I can comb that out. And that's a little bit snagged. So I'm going to grab my handy dandy little mat buster here. And just see if we can't help that break up a little bit before we try to brush it again. Okay. What do we have there? There's a mat there. I don't want to pull on her armpit, so I'm actually going to cut it out. So let's talk about cutting out a mat. And I'm going to just show you, a little example on her body. She doesn't have a mat here, but I just want you to get a visual. Whenever you cut hair on a dog, you don't want to pull the skin up, because right now I don't know where her skin is. Is her skin there or is her skin there? And if I cut it, I can cut her skin. So you never pull up when you cut. You always cut like this, and you make sure that you're not pressing down on the skin. Okay, so you cut like this and never pull up on the hair, because we don't want bleeding dogs, especially not a white dog. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing back here, and there's a little mat there, and I'm just, instead of torturing the dog, I'm going to cut it out. And it's pretty normal to get mats here, and I don't, I would rather my dog be comfortable than, I don't care that much if there's a little blank spot in the groom. Some people are more pickier than that, and you can take the time to work out the mat if you'd like to. All right, so you just gently go down. Let's see if we can get this done now. Did I get it out? I got it. All right. And I like that we kept the stress level down on the dog. You really can't see anything here. That I cut out the mat was a good spot to have one. It was an easy fix. And then when you do the toes, you go down like this, and we'll cut off these extra hairs at the end. We'll do that with the scissors. Good girl. Thank you. Good girl. Okay. All right. Now she's getting It's hard to see with her, but she's getting a little stressed by this. You can see that she's covering her paw with her head. So I'm going to let her paw go. She didn't pull it away from me. She was very good. And we're just going to have a little second here. We're going to hug her and reassure her. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Okay. Especially at the beginning when you're getting your dog used to grooming, take your time. Don't rush through it. Stop as much as your dog needs you to. Reassure your dog. Take breaks if you have to. Take potty breaks. Go play with the ball. You don't have to do it all at once. Do a little bit at a time. Sorry, I have dog hair on my nose. Okay? And help your dog through it. And it will pay off in the long run because you'll have a dog that's comfortable on the table like her and nice and quiet. All right? So let's see. I'm going to go back to it. And a lot of dogs don't like their legs done. You know, just try to get fast at it and blow through it. They don't like their legs restrained. So I'm holding very gently. I have found that less is more in terms of restraint. And the less I try to restrain my dog, the less I have to. So I've just got her paw resting in my hand. And you see she's a little bit more comfortable with it now. She's not thrilled about it, but she's okay with it. And we're done with the leg. And she's a good girl. She's a very good girl. What a good girl. Hi, do you want to sit? Do you want to sit or stand? You're not sure? Hmm? Come here. You're a good girl. You okay? Hmm? You okay? You're a good girl. Good girl. There you go. There you go. Okay, we're going to do the other front leg. You ready? All right. Give me the leg. All right. I'll do this left-handed as much as possible so you can see. Good girl. So I've had dogs that just love to be on the grooming table. Gobi doesn't love it, but she tolerates it very well. And I just want to be considerate of her because she is tolerating it very well for me. Good girl. So I do give her breaks when she asks for them. And again, I've got a little snag right there, so I'm going to see if I can either comb through it or cut it out if I have to. I'll come back to it. And because I don't put her on the table and yank her hair a lot, it's not as bad for her. If you put your dog on the table and you're always yanking on their hair, it hurts. Even if they tolerate it, it hurts. So it's a little bit harder for them to want to be there if they expect to be uncomfortable. Let's see what we've got here. Okay. So I missed this when I combed her out, and we have a couple of I see what we have. We have cockleburs here. We've got some cockleburs stuck in there. So let's see if we want to. Again, this is on her elbow, and I'm going to cut them off instead of, we've got a lot of cockleburs here. It's that time of year. I'm going to cut most of this off instead of subjecting her to dematting. Okay. Just gently cut. And now over here, she's got a nipple here, so I want to be careful of her nipple. And I don't want to pull up on the hair. I can hold it up without pulling on it. So I'm holding it up. I don't know if you can see it. I'm holding it up, but I'm not pulling on it. And I don't want to cut too much like that because it's kind of blind for me. But I'm going to come in here and check this out. Okay. Let's see what we can do now. It's still a little snaggy, but it's easier to get through. Okay, let's see now what we can do. Let me get that from your feet. Okay. And now, I did part of the shoulder with the shorter blade, and I can blend it this way, and we can do more blending if we need to with the scissors, but we can blend with this blade coming on down. There we go. Oh, we still have a snag. All right, let's get, oh, there it is. Okay. Little fun fact, don't all have the same number of nipples. You can have one dog with 6 nipples and another with 9. There's no set number. Okay. And I'll do the back legs the same way. I can just start with the blade here. Since this clipper guard is longer than the one on top, it doesn't matter where I start, and I can just blend it in, and then I'll come back with the scissors if anything looks a little funky. Like I said, most dogs don't like their legs held, so I'll do as much as I can with their legs on the ground, and then when I come to the parts that I really can't do that way, I'll pick their legs up. Like gummed up. Sometimes you can pull it out, but for the most part, if you see it stuck in there, you're going to have to clean it. Finish your leg, okay? Come here. I had a poodle named Fargo who loved to be groomed. She loved the table. You would put her on the table and she would lay down, and it didn't matter what you did to her. She enjoyed it like she was getting a massage. You could see her eyes roll into her head, and she would just be like, oh, okay, be over here. And you could move her around, and she'd be like, oh, okay, we can do there now. She just loved it. Never had anybody else that really loved being groomed, but they can be pretty good about it. And I try not to, if a dog doesn't like something, I try to find a way to work through it, because if you fight with the dog, they're going to fight back. It's not pleasant for anybody. It doesn't do anything for long-term enjoyment or tolerance of grooming, so I really try to avoid fighting with the dogs for so many reasons. A lot of patience, a little patience goes a long way. All right. And again, we're going to get the toes with the scissors at the end. So we'll turn her here. Thank you, sweetie. Good girl. You're a good girl. A very good girl. You're a very good girl. Yeah, we're almost done. And you can see, even with just the clipper guards, it blended in, it blended in really nicely from the shorter to the longer. And I've got a video of how we start our puppies on the table. We use squeezed cheese. You can use peanut butter or something similar, and you just get them, used to it, and happy about being on the table, and you can go a long way with a start like that. Do you need a break? You okay? You okay? You want a break? We good? So she probably wants a break, but I'm going to go ahead and finish up this leg. We're almost done. She's not really upset or anything. And she doesn't like her legs done. Good girl. Almost. I'll go fast. Okay? Going fast. I'm going fast. So even when you're holding your dog's foot, even if they're good, try to support the foot instead of grabbing onto it. If I'll try it with her and we'll see what she does. But most of the time, I've got a long spot here. Most of the time, if you grab a dog's foot like this, she's not doing it. But if you grab like this, they'll pull back just from you grabbing. So just try to get them to rest their foot in, and she's pulling away, but she's still keeping her foot on my hand. She's not really jerking it away, so that's fine. And she needs a break, so we're gonna have a little love break. Okay, you're a very good girl. You're a very good girl. You're a good girl. Do you need a hug? Do you need a hug? Okay. All right. We're gonna do the face now. Let's go to the face. So I do the face partly with the scissors and partly with the clipper guards. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, I've got the 2 clipper guards that I used. I've got the one that I used on the body, the shorter one, and then the longer one that I used on the legs. Okay, I need to clean. See, she's panting. It's hot in here, so part of it could be the heat, but I know she's a little stressed by this, so that's some of the panting that you see. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this is the same length as the body, and let me move her so you guys can see. Now that I'm done with her legs, it'll be a little easier on her because she doesn't like her legs done. Okay, so come here. We need you in front of the cam. Okay, come here. Okay, good girl. There you go. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pick up her ear, and then there's a line. I kind of draw an imaginary line from the corner of her eye to the top of her ear, and I take this clipper and I go down there. All right, and I just clip down there under the ear. Let's see if that's better. So go from the imaginary line, and then I do this all the way to the inside corner of her eye, straight down from the inside corner. So you see that this forward stays long, and this is short. And then I do short under the ear. I live in a very humid climate, so I actually, when I'm done, I will be shaving the inside of the ear. I like to keep it very open and air flowing. She doesn't have ear problems. I want it to stay that way, so I'll clip out the inside of her ear. Okay, and we'll do the other side. Okay, come here. Okay, good girl. Pick up her ear, imaginary line from the outside corner of her eye to the top of her ear, and just clip down. Okay. And then I keep clipping down until I get to the inside corner of her eye, straight line down, and I clip down. All right. Okay. And then with that, I am done with this clipper guard. So normally I'll do that same area when I do the body, but I want to show you how to do the face separately all at once. Then I take off this shorter clipper guard, and I need to clean, and I'll go to the longer one. So she doesn't have a very full beard right now, but I'll show you what I do anyway. I will take that longer clipper guard, and if you really like a full beard, you don't have to do anything at all, or you can even go longer than this one. And I'll take the clipper guard and I'll cut, you know, like I said, she gets really dirty, so I do take her down pretty short. So I'll take this longer clipper guard and I'll clip the beard with it. Just a little bit. I'm not going to go over too many times. I'm just going to do a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to go scoop down from between the eyes that way. Alright. And that's it for the clippers on the head for now. And then for the face, let's see, you'll need your comb. Let's get in here. Alright. You're going to need your comb, and I brush everything back, and then I kind of do a part here and a part here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors with the rounded edges, because it's the face, and I'm going to do an inverted V. So from the long hair, so from right about here on her muzzle, right there, I'm going to do an inverted V so that I can see her eyes. Okay, inverted V. If you have a fidgety dog, have somebody help you. Have somebody hold the dog. You do not want to poke out your dog's eye. Okay, so you have the inverted V. You can see that right there on her. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just finish trimming the beard. And I'm going to take everything on the beard, on the long part of the beard, and pull it forward. Pull it forward. I'm going to pull it forward like that. With one hand, I'm going to put my hand over it like this and scoop it forward to the front of her nose and just trim everything here. Okay. I'm going to just trim it all even here. So if you want a longer beard, you trim farther away from the nose. If you want a shorter beard, you trim closer to the nose. And again, I'm taking her down pretty short because she likes to be dirty. Okay. And then to do underneath, you can trim the beard underneath with the scissors. What I like to try to do is to kind of go in a smiling pattern, so I'll go like that and then trim it up sort of that way. Here we go. To frame the face. Okay. What you doing? And what I really like to do, because I'm a lazy groomer, is I will hold her head up like this, if she'll let me. And I'll just kind of trim from the underside, because I can see if it's a little bit more even that way, and I can get both sides a little bit more even trimming from the underside. And remember, if you make a mistake, it will grow back. The hair will grow back. And then for the top knot, if your dog is really long, you can use the comb on the top knot. What I'm going to do is, remember I went, this was the body, and then I went up two for the legs and part of the face. And for the top knot, I'm going to go with this because I'm going to use the scissors after this. But if you go really short on the top knot, the poodles in this breed, you know, the poodle blood, they get a sort of a bump on the top of their head. It's just a bone that's there. And you'll see a bony protuberance in some of your dogs. She doesn't really have it as much. But if you use a comb, that's really short, it will stand out a lot. So I like to use a longer comb and then come in with the scissors. So I'm putting on the longer comb, and I'm bringing this all forward. I'm not going back and I'm not going sideways. I'm taking this down, coming forward. And just the top of the head there, coming forward, like that. Alright. Okay. And then I'm going to take my scissors, and with this still forward, I'll brush it forward a little bit more. I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to cut across, and that's going to give me more of her eyes being seen, and just cut everything about the dog's face is kind of circles. So you want an arc here, you want this to be roundish here, and then I'm going to fluff that up, and then I'm just going to take, I've got my rounded scissors, and I'm just going to make it a little more even. If you don't have a good hand or a good eye and you're not comfortable using the scissors yet, you don't have to do this part. This is where you can make your dog look a little bit silly if you're not very good at it. So If you don't want to use the scissors on top of their head, you don't have to. And then for the ears, some people like the ears long, you can leave them long. I will take, every other groom I think, I'll take this longer blade and I'll just take down a little bit off of the sides of the ears, just so that they stay a little bit on the short side. And then when you trim the ears, the skin and the little bit of flesh that's here is called the ear leather. You know, this is the part of the dog where they actually feel things and they've got circulation and blood. And then this is the hair. So you need to find the edge of where the leather is and make sure you don't cut it, okay? So you can separate the hair. And also, dogs get matted here a lot and people don't realize it. If it's thicker down here than it is up here, it's probably a mat and not actually the ear. So you want to be careful of that. And that's another reason I like to keep ears short. I know that they're really pretty long and a lot of people like them. But if you have some grooming challenges, keep them short. It will be easier for you and for the dog. So we have the leather here. If you're not sure, you can separate it and look right there. I will run my fingertip here, and before I cut, even if I separate, I'm going to pinch it just a little bit, not too much, with my fingernail to see if I'm actually feeling my finger behind there or if there's ear there. If I get her ear, she's going to flinch and let me know. If you pinch too hard, she's going to scream, so you don't want to do that. But it's better to pinch a little bit than to actually cut her ear with the scissors. All right, so feel for where the edge of the ear is and make sure you're not cutting the ear. And then just cut maybe a 1/4 inch or whatever the length is that you like out from the ear leather and follow the ear leather around the ear. Okay. Then you come to the end and I do just a little rounded point on the end. And up here, get the front. I've got some long hairs under here. I'm going to just cut them short. Let some air get in. And I'll do the other ear again. Find the ear leather. Cut about a 1/4 inch or whatever length you prefer away from the ear leather. Some of the dogs will have longer ears, but I try to get them about even with the jawline. I think it looks a little bit balanced that way. For short ears. So that's the ear. I'm going to check and see if they're relatively even. This one's a little bit longer. So I'll just take off about 1/8 of an inch there. Snip, 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 snip. So what I look for in the head and the ears, again, is the circles. So I like to see like a circle here, a roundish head into the ears, a roundish arc over the face, and a roundish shape to the beard. So that's the face, and that's all done. And now we can do feet. Okay. So I'm going to take the scissors, and you can do this with her sitting or standing or whatever works for you. And I'm just going to trim around the base of the foot. Now, some dogs, especially with a squirmy dog or a dog that's really ticklish, they can be ticklish on their feet. What I'll do is I will pick up the other foot to help keep this foot on the table. So, and I'm just going to trim around. She's got hobbit feet right now. I love hobbits, but we're going to not have hobbit feet on the dog. I'm going to trim around. Okay, trim around. And then we've got a nice rounded foot. Okay, nice rounded foot there. We'll put that one down. We'll do the other one. Come here. I'll pick this up and we'll do the rounded foot. Rounded foot, and now I'll do the back. So for the back, it's the same thing as the front. I don't know if you can see very well, but I'm just going to do the same exact thing I did on the front and get rid of the hobbit look and neaten up the roundness on the feet. Okay. Where are you going, Gobi? Oh, come here. Okay, come here. And then we have a couple more things to do and we're almost done. And not everything has to be done in this exact order. You can do the sanitary clip before the face, or however you want to do it. If you do the sanitary clip before the face, be sure to disinfect your blade. Okay. So trim around, and then at the end I'll go through with the scissors and cut off any strays. And we're going to do the sanitary clip now. Okay, honey. Oh. Okay, good girl. Good girl. Okay, good girl. Okay. And the sanitary clip, we haven't done the tail. So I'm going to go back to, this is the blade I used on the body. No, it's not. This is the one I used on the body. The clipper guard. For the tail, oops, that wasn't on very well. Sometimes they fight back. So I want to just, at the base of the tail, I cut it down a little bit, and I kind of just feather it out into the rest of the tail. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my blades from the 15 that I use with the clipper guards with the combs and switch it to a 10 blade to actually trim the hair directly instead of with the clipper guard. So with the sanitary, again, you want to be careful. You can cause some clipper burn, and we don't want that to happen. It's a tender area. So I'm going to see if I can get her to face away from me like this so that you can see. There, good girl. Okay, I'm going to pick up her tail, and this is a 10 blade. Hey honey, hold on. And I'm just going to clip down and clear out around her vulva a little bit, and then down from her anus, okay? And then once to the side, and once to the side, and once up. And then you've got a clear area there, okay? And that's a sanitary clip. For some dogs, you might want to do the insides of their legs. If you have a male, you can clear the hair off around the penis very gently and very carefully, always in the direction of the hair. Some people like to keep a little wick on the end to direct urine. So if you have a dog that urinates a little bit on themselves, or just sort of sprays a little bit more broadly than you'd like, you can try to leave a little wick on the end, and that will help direct the urine. And others seem to keep cleaner without the wick. So you're going to have to see what works best for your particular dog. That's the basic cut. What I'll do as the last thing is just take my scissors, and if I see any little strays, I'll just go around. If it's not quite blended or there's something sticking out, I'll go around and neaten up the dog. She's a little stressed. I do want to give her a break, but I'll go neaten up the dog, and this is a problem for me. I can't stop doing this, okay? Once I start neatening up the dog, it's very hard for me to stop, so I have to force myself to not do too much. But for the most part, she looks pretty good. There are still some things I do want to clean up, but that's a basic clip. You can see what I'm talking about with the legs. Instead of see her legs are smaller, and they would look a little bit more fine if you used a closer blade, but I like this look a little bit better. And that's her face right there, and that's what we go for. And she's a very good dog. Thank you, Gobi. Thank you. Good girl. All right, we'll give her a break, and we'll come back and we'll do ears and nails.